The Rudaj organization is the Albanian mafia in the New York City metro area, named for the man accused of being its kingpin, Alex Rudaj of Yorktown, New York. The Rudaj organization, called the Corporation by its members, was started in 1993 in Westchester and spread to the Bronx and Queens. Prosecutors say the Albanian gang was headed by Alex Rudaj and an Italian named Nardino Colati, who both had ties to the late Gambino soldier Phil "Skinny" Lo Scalzo. Organization: Alex Rudaj, also known as Sandro Rudovic, Ali Boy, Uncle Rudaj Zakzai, of Yorktown, New York, is the alleged boss of the Albanian mafia's Rudaj organization, based in the New York City metro area. Rudaj is an ethnic Albanian from Ulcinj, Montenegro, who immigrated to the United States in 1987. Federal prosecutors said Rudaj was the triggerman in a 1996 shooting of another organized crime figure after a high-speed chase in the Bronx. Rudaj hung out the sunroof of a car and fired at Guy Peduto as he fled in another car. They also described an incident where Rudaj showed up with 20 thugs to get late mob boss John Goddard's table at Ral's, the legendary and exclusive East Harlem Italian restaurant. On Friday, June 16, 2006, Alex Rudaj, 38, was sentenced to 27 years in federal prison for racketeering, extortion and gambling offenses. Nardino Colati, born 1963, of the Bronx, New York, is an Italian-American protege of the late Gambino soldier Phil "Skinny" Phil Lo Scalzo and co-leader of the Albanian mafia Rudaj organization. Lo Scalzo allegedly promised Colati territory with rackets to run in the Bronx and to propose him for Gambino family membership. However, when Lo Scalzo died, Sicilian Gambino soldier Joe Gambino took over his operations. Rudaj and Colati didn't receive his territory and they did not want to work for Gambino. Neither did they respect him. Therefore, in 1993, they became independent and founded their own organization. In addition to gambling dens in Queens, the Rudaj organization ran gambling operations in Mount Vernon and Portchester. Nardino Colati's group had a gambling joint on 80th Street in Portchester and forced bar owners in Mount Vernon to install their illegal gambling machines. In one instance, Colati's group tried to force Salvatore Misael, the owner of Puerto Roja in Mount Vernon, to hand over his bar to the corporation. Misael went to authorities in 2003 after he endured a beating at a Bronx cafe over his refusal to hand over the keys to the bar. Lamaj sliced his ear off and then beat and cursed at him. Federal prosecution: on October 26, 2004, the FBI and Manhattan U.S. Attorney David Kelly announced the arrest of the group's alleged boss, Alex Rudaj, and 21 other reputed mob members charged in the indictment. Kelly's office said it believes the indictment is the first federal racketeering case in the United States against an alleged organized crime enterprise run by Albanians. Kelly neglected to mention a smaller Albanian-Italian drug smuggling operation indicted by federal authorities in Brooklyn since 1981, from which known crime associate was also charged but only received 2 years at sentencing. Several of the defendants indicted in the case are not Albanian. The organization has soldiers that are Greek, Arab and Italian, but most of the defendants in the case were either native Albanians or first-generation Albanian Americans. During the bail hearing for one of the 24 people arrested in the case, Assistant U.S. Attorney Timothy Traynor said that the Albanian mob had taken over the operations of the Lucchese family in Astoria, Queens. Rudaj led an attack in August 2001 on 2 Greek associates of the Lucchese crime family who ran a gambling racket inside a Greek social club called Soccer Fever at 26-80 30th Street in Queens. On August 3, 2001, Rudaj and at least 6 other men entered the club with guns, beating one of the men in the head with a pistol and chasing others out of the neighborhood by threatening to destroy the building. Gambino leader Arnold Squitieri had had enough and wanted a talk with these rogue mobsters. The sit-down took place at a gas station in a rest area near the New Jersey Turnpike. 20 armed Gambino mobsters accompanied Squitieri. Alex Rudaj, on the other hand, had only managed to bring 6 members of his crew. According to undercover FBI agent Joaquin Garcia, who infiltrated the Gambino crime family during this period, Scudieri told Rudaj that the fun was over and that they should stop expanding their operations. The Albanians and Gambinos then pulled out their weapons. Knowing they were outnumbered, the Albanians threatened to blow up the gas station with all of them in it. This ended the discussion, and both groups pulled back. By 2006, all of the main players involved in this sit-down were in prison. Rudaj and then personal driver and bodyguard Luma, including all members of Sixth Family, had been picked off the street in October 2004 and charged with a variety of racketeering and gambling charges. After a trial, Rudaj and his main lieutenants were all found guilty. In 2006, Rudaj, at that time 38 years old, was sentenced to 27 years in prison. His rival Arnold Scudieri was convicted in an unrelated racketeering case and was sent to prison for 7 years. What we have here might be considered a sixth crime family, after the 5 mafia organizations: Bonanno, Colombo, Gambino, Genovese and Lucchese, said Fred Snelling, head of the FBI's criminal division in New York. To date, over 20 members of the Rudaj organization have been charged with various crimes. 6 of its top leaders, including Alex Rudaj himself, have been convicted. 10 more have pleaded guilty. Trouble with Valence's family. On August 3, 2001, members of the Albanian Rudaj organization attacked Greek associates of the Lucchese crime family. The brief fight was over controlling gambling rackets in Astoria, Queens. See also Albanian boys. Notes.